Hello there, ladies and gentlemen and unicorns. Welcome to another Pixel Prophecy stream with yours truly, that is Pixel to the Prophecy, and these are the prophets of the Pixel. Those are the unicorns. They are just very eager to be here. Hello everyone, and congratulations Frank on winning the quiz despite some Japanese composers tripping you up. I mean, it's fair. Their names, if you aren't used to them, sound very much interchangeable. And also, Kersey, congratulations on 100% correctly answered questions. It wasn't that many, but all of them were correct. Good evening, good time of day. So yes, you can see I have somewhat recovered from last week. My god, 2 weeks before when I ended the stream, I said, I don't know about the next week, but it's gonna be intense. And intense it was. It was so intense that I already have to have a sip of water. This is the Pixel Prophecy irrigation project. Cheers. Oh yes, Austria. That is the other thing that people get tripped up, especially politically. Or when you want to travel to Australia, and yeah, there's a weird mix-up and you get the Alps instead of kangaroos. It happened to the best of us. I think I was an Australian, but I was raised as Austrian, and yeah, everything just went crazy from there. Somewhat recovered, yes, I would say I've recovered fully, and then this week hit me again. Yes, so the problem was, last week I was working more or less 2 projects simultaneously, and also things with the house and everything, and cleaning and unexpected things that happened. So I thought, you know what, I think I can still handle it. I can handle everything. I'm fine, I can do this. And when I was finishing my shift on Thursday with one of the 2 big projects, the other one I had luckily finished beforehand, but this project was getting delayed, and I was meant to start on Monday, and I could start on Tuesday, and I had to finish by Thursday night. So for 52 minutes of color grading for a big high-profile project, instead of having 4 shifts, I only had 3, which really messes up your time management. So I had to scramble to get everything done. So long story short, when I was finishing up on Thursday, Thursday leading up the day, I was just exhausted, and I didn't know quite why, because I mean it's work, it's the usual. Why am I so exhausted? So I was sitting at the cafe before work and couldn't even get the nerve to read something. I had 2 lattes there, and usually after 2 latte I think I'm slightly energized, as I am right now. I think, yes, I did have 2 latte today. Anyway, so I'm slightly energized, but on Thursday I was just well, I guess then let's get to work. So they didn't do anything for me. So at work I thought, you know what, maybe I should try tea, and then had some black tea, which didn't work, and then had some green tea on top of that after an hour, which also didn't work. And at that point I thought, you know what, screw this, I just have a power nap. And I napped for half an hour and got up super groggy. So whatever I did beforehand to invigorate myself was completely obliterated by this nap afterwards. So yeah, and I still had a couple of hours to go. So I finished the project, and when I went to the car, I realized that, my god, I'm shivering. What is happening? And I mean, this was the height of summer. So I mean, outside it had like 32, 34 degrees. I mean, not at night when I finished, but still the entire day. And I was just freezing. I had the chills. And in the car when I was driving home, I had to crank up the heating, because I was sitting there in my jacket and just shivering, because I was just so exhausted. So back home, I had a horrible night, and the next day I had to call in sick, because I had all the symptoms of fever, but I don't think that I had fever, but I was just glowing and burning up inside for 2 days. And then things started to recover slightly, and so yeah, on Monday I could get back to work. Thankfully there was a very low-key project, so I eased myself in, but boy, I wish I could say, yeah, it was just a common cold, or I had caught a bug or something, but it probably was just exhaustion. So my entire metabolism, well, not metabolism, what's the other thing? My immune system just cratered because of all the stress. Didn't have this before this severely, but I guess this is what comes with age, so here we are. Good thing is I slept a lot, and this week anything that I've built up in terms of recovery I already exhausted, so this is why you can already see some rings underneath my eyes. So hopefully, yeah, the weekend I should be able to catch up. Anyway, Frank says that does sound busy. Indeed, it was, and but I am here. I'm back, I would say, at my full capacity. Again, just the usual tiredness around the eyes. But what else have I been up to? By this point, you can say it's the usual. So this project of rescuing. Or was it rescuing? Yeah, archiving my audio data, essentially what I've built up in over 26, 27, 28 years. My audio biography spans 28 years at this point. So, and as you know, at some point I realized that, yeah, these software tools won't be around forever, at least not for as long as I will be around. And maybe I want to listen to old things or even work on old things. And yeah, this sent me down this rabbit hole where I just wanted to get all the old data that I had out there. Out of their proprietary software and transfer and transform the data that is in there into something that is more future-proof. Essentially, this means for audio that I have all individual tracks. Either if they are MIDI tracks, then I exported MIDI files because they are pretty open. This is a very open and well-documented standard. And if it's not MIDI files, if it's audio recordings or synthesized instruments, that sort of thing with Reason, I started to export every track individually with effects and without effects for every track of every song. And with Reason, this is one of those tools. They didn't support the option to bounce individual channels automatically. Now pretty much any audio software does this, but Reason back then had this concept of a mixer, and you pipe everything into this mixer. So if you were here with the last stream 2 weeks ago, I think we went through this where I individually soloed channel after channel and then exported and then disabled all the effects and exported again. So luckily I'm beyond this and I'm having different sorts of problems. But hey, at least the days of starting software in a virtual machine with Windows 2000 are over for now, because in my archival workflow, so I started back with 1997, where I did my first MIDI tracks. And yeah, just kept going from there. So in 2005, for example, this is when I got Reason, the first Reason, but of course I used still all the old Cakewalk projects and got Sonar and other tools in between. So up to this point, I would say finally I'm at the start of 2012 of my audio biography. So this means, again, all these Windows 95 and Windows 2000 and even Windows XP software, luckily I don't have to try to run them anymore. The thing is, of course, now I got Windows 8 software and that sort of thing. So this is where I'm currently at. Hello Tutvaris, so nice of you to drop by. I'm just recapping my my workflow, or what I've been doing these past weeks by now. So you can tell from my desktop there is a lot going on. Let me just quickly show you here this the amount of audio software that I have. For example, this Cubase. This is Cubase Essentials, which requires this beautiful little USB dongle. This is the e-licenser, and of course this won't work out of the box with Windows 11, because why would it? And I think it's even 32-bit and not 64-bit, the entire thing. And of course, yeah, to have these two things talk to each other, this was, again, one of these projects. Where is my mouse pointer? Where are we? Okay, we're here. Then we have here Cakewalk Sonar and Cakewalk X Sonar X2, and the first one, the X1. So this is software from 2011, 2012. And again, because Cakewalk is a company that has been sold like 2 or 3 times now, it was super hard to even access my old software and get my registration key so that I could install these things. Because nowadays, I think last time we've seen it, Cakewalk is despite me having bought Sonar, I'm now on the free tier, and at any point they want to extract money of you. For plugins that I used 12, 13 years ago, that I bought, but they don't work anymore, and I have to buy them again. So it's that kind of fun thing. Then, of course, we have Reason 8 and Reason 13. The reason for Reason 8 being here is, of course, they also changed some things with their audio engine. For example, I was using my guitar to record guitar tracks, and instead of recording from a live amplifier and recording it via microphone, I just piped directly into the sound card with my essentially clean guitar signal, and the entire amplification and distortion happens digitally. You could do this with Reason. The problem is after Reason 8 with Reason 9, when they changed things and the built-in amplifiers of Reason didn't work anymore. When you open a project, it says, hey, we changed the amplifiers. They aren't in here anymore. We switched it with the current amplifiers, but they are all set to defaults, and you cannot get the exact guitar tone that you had before. And again, since I want this just to be able to export it, I have now here two versions of Reason. We have Goat Tracker, the Commodore 64 tracker. Then, of course, I have here various versions of Adobe Audition, because at some point I did some of my mixing in Audition until I transitioned over to Audacity 2.0. Why Audacity 2.0? Because, again, Audacity also has a session format, or the Audacity projects where you have all these individual audio tracks, and with the current Audacity, it doesn't open anymore. It doesn't even tell you why it won't open. It just is not that backwards compatible as I thought it would be. So this is again one of the many reasons why I hang on to old software installers, because of these kind of things. So whenever I download software, I save the installer somewhere where I can find it in 5, 10, 20 years. And this really saved my ass now with this project a couple of times. So if you have the capacity, just use an old drive where you put all your installers for software there, especially for projects that you've made, because at some point you might want to open this. And yeah, if you set up a virtual machine and install this old software, that's really going to save your ass. Frank says, when it comes to licensing, none of these companies will ever see Reason. Indeed. Yeah, software licensing. I don't know why it's so broken. The best, the versions that gave me the least amount of trouble were those versions where I had the installer still, and where all it needed was the serial number, which I had received via mail. Like I said, 15 years ago. So you just copy paste and it works. And then there are things like here with Guitar Rig. It was a hassle to get Guitar Rig 4 installed, because of course this is a subscription based software and the current version is Guitar Rig 7. Yes, I bought Guitar Rig 4, but why would you want to use it when we have Guitar Rig 7 and your license covers Guitar Rig 7? Well, I have old projects that use Guitar Rig 4. I want to open them. And the licensing server, when you install this from an installer, says, yeah, the licensing server doesn't respond because they changed it in the meantime. So, yeah, lots of back and forth on shady websites where essentially I bought this software back in the day. I just want to unlock it. I'm not going to use it for any projects. I just let me open my old project files. And yeah, and on top of that is audio troubles. We're lucky to have audio today, because I had to change so many audio settings there, because again, I was different old obsolete software was talking to each other, like for example, having Cubase talk to Reason through Rewire, which I'm not sure is a standard anymore. Or I was using sound fonts that were supported in Reason, well, up to Reason, I think 10. And now you can open projects with sound fonts, but you can't import sound fonts anymore in Reason. Again, they're being unreasonable here. So it's all this multitude of things that you wouldn't think is really a problem until you try to open your old projects. So this is my reminder for you. If you have old projects in old, especially proprietary software, you know what? You should just try to open and see if everything is still there. Usually there's a new version of this software, provided it's still around. And you might be surprised what is not supported anymore or what you cannot open, be it projects like, in my case, audio. Again, audio is so much hassle. But even with things like old Photoshop files or something, it's really this keeping an archive of your stuff. In my case, it has developed into this big summer project now that I've been working on. So just that I could, like I said, get as we say in German, get all my sheeps into the dry so that they don't get rained on when something should happen. So, and for this, I created a couple of little helpers for me, and to save me time, because again, you've seen this last week. It just takes so long. For example, when I export something from these audio tools, usually it's individual tracks, which we call in audio stems. So you have just the drums or just the bass. The idea is, should you want to change the mix later on, as I did with some of my projects where I realized, yeah, this sounded good in 2009 when I didn't know what I was doing. It sounds so much worse in 2016 when I still don't know what I'm doing, but I know what I like hearing. It's not that. So and these exports are in the WAV file format, because standard, but it's big, so I need to convert this. Usually I was doing it with Foobar 2000, which is a wonderful tool. My number one MP3 and audio player right after I transitioned over from good old Winamp. So the idea is so that I can just have here an audio file and then say export and convert latest or convert last with my last settings. This is all nice and dandy, and you would think, yeah, it's just like 2 or 3 clicks, but it really adds up when you constantly you export something, then you select everything, bring it here, select everything, right click, export, then close this and delete the original files and so on. So instead I thought, why not write tools for all of these things? Oh, Frank also said, you also say that in German. Yeah, to bring your sheep into the dry. Yeah, in German it's die Schäfchen ins Trockene bringen. And also it's the sheep, it's the diminutive form. It's the sheepies, to bring your sheepies into the dry. So it's nice with German and Dutch because they're so closely related. And just got an email from Twitch, probably that I'm streaming. Hi, Phil, I'm streaming right now. I don't know if you have noticed. So, schaapjes op het droge. Schaapjes. I think that's sheep. Evening venereal disease. Good evening. I was just outlining my tools process for my getting my old audio projects archived. And one of these things, as you can see here, for example, converts WAV files to FLAC. And it does it like, all I need to do is select my WAV files, drag them onto this batch file, and the original files get replaced. And I can even do this with a folder, which again is kind of neat. So the other thing here is the SES converter. This brings old Adobe Audition projects up to converts them to the new version that I can open them with the current Audition project. So you might ask, how does this work? How did I come up with this? And I did not come up with this, and this is halfway what I'm going to talk about today. Is I've learned to enjoy, to tolerate Python and not hate it. I think I've went on record many times before on this stream where I said so many things want you to install Python, and I don't like programming in Python because with this all indent based programming and scheming, and I don't like it. I want everything JavaScript, right? So of course then you can say, yeah, then just use Node.js, and I feel like, yeah, I just want something that works, just something that I can instantly run. So this SES converter, as you can see here, what it does is essentially I just drop a bunch of files onto this Windows batch file, and what it does is it looks whether what I dropped is a folder, and if it's a folder, then it processes everything that's in this folder, or if it's a file or a number of files, then it processes these files. Makes sense. And if the extension is not matching, then it just skips them. And this processing looks like this, where it's just Python tool and then passes it the file. I mean, in this case, this is running it individually for all files. But yeah, this is, again, I have installed Python now, and yeah, I don't hate it. Kersey is fine with Python, and Venereal Disease also says, yay, Python. And I say, yeah, fine, Python it is then. And I can also show you in a bit my baby's first Python script that I wrote. So this one, this converter here, where it says tool, that is here in my Dropbox, it is the Audition SES to SESX converter. I always say it's double sex converter. This I didn't have to write myself because some kind fellow on GitHub wrote this converter. I don't know what it does. I haven't looked into it. I was at some point, especially with, like I said, with this big project of 28 years of Phil's files, looking at every individual project and just trying to get it done with. I didn't have really the nerve while I was having like 20 windows open to look into, okay, what is this tool doing? I just wanted a tool that works. And luckily, this works. So the other tool, again, this is... for me, as I'm dealing with this many audio files right now, my most favorite tool is this wave to flag tool. And this one I've copied together with with the help of old Stack Overflow things and Reddit and so on. So it essentially does the same thing. When I drop something, it looks, is it a wave file? And if so, then it calls this subroutine process file. If it's a folder, well, then it calls it for every individual file. But the cool thing here is we have here this wait loop. So essentially, instead of processing each wave file individually, and when I drop like 20 wave files, or let's say 12 wave files, as you might be able to see here with these max jobs here, they can be processed simultaneously in parallel, which again is pretty cool when you have this computer that does multi-processing, and it's not like you're running Adobe software, which runs on one core mostly. And the cool thing is, this again, I pieced together with this cool thing here is essentially it just I'm doing this conversion from wave to flag with FFmpeg, and essentially what it does here is it launches FFmpeg. It looks at this Windows process manager, essentially how many ffmpeg.exe processes are running, and writes these processes here to this job count. And if the job count is less than the maximum allowed jobs, in my case it's 12, then it just keeps adding jobs and adding jobs. And if it's beyond in this case 12 jobs, it just waits for 1 second whether one job has already finished. Again, it's not like you have to wait like 20 seconds for every 30-minute long stem to be converted one after the other. You can do it in parallel. And again, this is it feels like finally I sorted this out. I hunkered down and sorted this out. And again, I have here something where it says the logical AND only executes the delete command only if the first one went through successfully, because this is what I want is when the conversion to flag has gone through successfully, then it deletes the original file. But of course, if there has been an error, please do not delete the original file. And somewhere I found this hack that does this, and I also have it here, neat hack. I copied it from Reddit or wherever and thought, you know what, this is in 100 years I wouldn't have never gotten there. Kirsty says Python for multiprocessing is a nice use case I've done before. That's good, because that multiprocessing with Python, that I haven't done before myself. So this is good old Windows batch file. Essentially, it's just launching FFmpeg with every individual file. So each FFmpeg doesn't know about the other FFmpeg that's currently running, and I can do like 12 jobs at once. And again, it's blazingly fast. It really feels like why is everything else so slow in comparison? So as for Python, I already had to start a folder in my programming projects folder that is called Python. because at first I thought, you know what, I will just use one Python script and be done with after this project and never use it again. And now that I have had the taste of Python, yeah, you know what, it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat because there are so many plugins, well, not plugins, things you can import that offer some functionality out of the box. So the first thing that I wanted to do with Python was where I had this very specific problem that I wanted to solve, and I couldn't think of how I would do this with JavaScript because I needed to manipulate files on disk. So then I thought maybe I do it with pure basic, but I mean, let's be honest, pure basic is the aging language, and I felt like, you know what, maybe I should try something new for once. Also because there's a lot of boilerplate involved when you want to try something with pure basic, and yeah, I wasn't feeling it. Dizzy says, yes, let the Python flow through you. Yeah, I feel like I just joined a cult. So far I like it. So my use case was, I started in 1998 with doing MIDI files, and I thought at some point, you know what, I have so many MIDI files that I've never used, that essentially I just produced for my own drawer and then never looked at them. And I thought, you know what would be nice if I make a Phil's MIDI music pack of mediocre sounding MIDIs, or let's say a grab bag of MIDI files of mixed length and quality, and just put it on my website. So it essentially is, I mean, this is the plan. I haven't done it yet, but I have already assembled these MIDI files. So it's here, it's Phil's MIDI collection, and it's 71 items here with MIDIs. And you can see here after every name is the year in which I made it in parentheses. So this is what I wanted to do, and the problem was, or not the problem was, because it's 71 MIDI files. I'm not going and to open every individual MIDI file and look at and say file property, and this is where I wrote the copyright. So instead I thought, you know what, maybe I can do this with Python, and instead of manually open everything, looking at the MIDI data properties and teasing out what year I entered there, I can write a script for this. So and that's what I did. Long story short, this is what I did, and this was rename files from header string. And yeah, I mean, it says what it does here. It iterates over all files, matching an extension in a folder, and reads the first 512 bytes. I'm not parsing any MIDI files. I'm not importing a MIDI file parser or anything, because I thought, you know what, with these MIDI files, the actually thing that I'm interested in, this string where it says Phil Strahl, comma, year in which I made it, this is part of the MIDI header. So when I look, let's put this here into HXD, and you can see here it says MTHD. So this is the MIDI header, and there we have the where it says Dawn Japanese Sun. So this is already the header where it says, yeah, free use, yada yada yada, and then it says here, oh, in this case it just says here 1099. I think this is not even the header, or is it? Anyway, oh, there it is. So this is Phil Strahl, comma, 1999. So again, I thought if I just read here the first 512 bytes, I'm fine. Somewhere in there, I can find this string. So I don't need to parse this as a MIDI file, because I'm not interested in any note events or something. Frank says, you know, the fun thing, Python is just like all those other things. You need a version close enough to the one you made the script for. Yeah, again, here with Python, I don't know why I was so dismissive of it. Again, I think probably it's just a personal preference. I mean, just from a very, very subjective feeling of how much I enjoy writing in this language, it's slightly below PHP. Which for some people might seem unfair, but when I say or let's say my list of my favorite programming languages, I would say from a user perspective, at least for what I need to do, is I think I like JavaScript best, or Game Maker language, which is pretty much, let's say, pretty close on the podium there. And the second one is already a bit of a question for me. So I think even if it's not a programming language, but I would say HTML, CSS, these kind of markup things, and then there's PHP. So it's not that far behind with PHP. Again, I feel like the thing that I hate the most with PHP is that over the years they just kept mixing so many metaphors, and you can do this object oriented, but you can do this also functional, but you can also mix these two approaches, and you can say string upper, but if you say string lower, it doesn't work because it needs to be lower string because it's super not inconsequential, but they don't follow through with their own naming convention, it feels like, with PHP. And in some regards, this is how I feel it is with Python, probably because I didn't program a lot in Python before. So whenever I want something like lower or ends with, I have to look these things up. And I feel like a complete noob when I have to look up how can I trim a string. Oh, it's not called trim in Python, it's called strip a string, and so on. So it's these things for me. But that aside, I already grew comfortable with it in the past 2 weeks. So again, back to my script. So again, if it encounters the string Filstrahl, comma, space, and then 3, in this case 4 digits, we will extract this here and rename the file. And should the file name already have this at the end, it will get replaced with the one that we found inside the file. Because with some I already started, some I had the year 2026 in parentheses, because this was when I edited the file, and I thought, you know what, again, let's rename this. And the funny things that I already encountered here with Python, I mean, might put a smile on some of your faces, especially if you're used to Python. One thing is here, I love regular expressions. I think I like regular expressions when we put this on my list of favorite programming languages. I would say I like regular expressions slightly less than programming HTML and CSS, but I love how much you can get out of regular expressions. Again, it feels like a regular expression is essentially a puzzle for yourself. How can I write this expression that it only applies to this case and not the other case, for example? And this is what we have here with data and file name. So again, for those who aren't versed with regular expressions, so this is why I'm using here this import RE for regular expressions, and I'm importing OS so that I can interact with files in the file system. So essentially I had here my path on the desktop, and again, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my name followed by 4 digits. You can write this, of course, much more terse in regular expressions, but I thought, was it the curvy brackets, or was it the angular brackets? Never mind. I just use 4 times \d and we're good. And for the file name, it's the same thing. If the file name already has this somewhere in there in parentheses, we just skip it. So for all the files in this folder, we look at the path, at the file name, we see if is it a file, does it end with our MIDI extension, and only then we open the file as read-only, essentially. And the biggest problem that I had was, again, I wanted to just read the first 512 bytes and then just do essentially treat this as a string and look up the string. Again, you have this regular expression run over this string to see if there's a match. Python wouldn't let you do this. You can do this, I think, just fine in JavaScript. And this was the first thing where I thought, you know what, I don't like this, because it was always complaining that it found bytecodes that aren't part of ASCII. So they can't. It said it cannot do a string of byte 255 because this is not a proper character. I mean, fair enough, but still. So I thought, okay, you know what I will do? I just filter this. And I'm not sure if this is how you do it, but with every time when you start out with a programming language, with a new one, you do things manually where you do not even know that there's already a solve problem, or there's just this one function, sometimes even built-in keyword that does exactly what you want. So for my silly approach, essentially it was, hey, just read here the first 512 bytes, and if the byte is less than 128, because with ASCII it's ASCII characters, everything between encoded between 0 and 128. So I thought, you know what, again, since this what we're looking for is a string, essentially I don't care about any characters beyond 128. I mean, I could have even kept this at, what was the highest character here? Probably the S, the uppercase, no, the lowercase R maybe in my name. This would be the highest letter in ASCII. But yeah, again, let's not get cute here. And again, this is what I did. I just said, hey, treat everything there as a letter if it's with byte less than 128, and then we do this regular expression thing. Again, I feel like I did this completely obnoxiously wrong or backwards, but in the end, you know what? It worked. It worked. I even have here my extension with the file path -4 from the. Of course, you can use this again. I've learned you can use packages where you can say, hey, this is a package, or the package understands that this is a file name, and you can say, just give me the extension. I don't want to parse the extension myself. This is a solved problem. All these kinds of things. And then it changes the file name, and we're done. So this was my first Python script, and when it finally worked, I thought, you know what? It was a little bit cumbersome, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that this works. Maybe I can use Python for something else. Kirsty says, getting used to methods/functions in a new language takes time. Yeah, so this is why most of my my baby's first Python scripts, they're very, very functional. They're very linear from top to bottom. So I'm not bothering doing any sort of classes, or I don't think that I'm using functions, because since the parsing that I'm doing is very straightforward and very linear, so pretty much all of my Python scripts look like this, where I'm just iterating over a list or over a string and then doing some parsing from there. Frank says, I'm slowly transitioning to lurk mode. Good luck with the Python. Thank you, Frank, and enjoy your weekend, I hope. And thank you so much for sticking with me, and have a wonderful evening whenever you drop out. Kirsty says, do what works and learn better ways to do as you go. Yeah, that's the thing also pretty much with anything. I felt like when I was trying Unity, coming from Game Maker, where I felt like, I need to learn so much because I don't know how to properly trademark do things in this engine. So again, it in so many regards, it felt just petrifying, because I don't want to do anything wrong or backwards. So I don't know what I can actually do, and essentially just follow tutorials and then realize, yeah, the tutorial is not doing what I want to do, and but still afraid to just mess around and do it wrong. But as long as it works, it works. And this is the coolest part, I feel, when you somewhat you feel like you've arrived with a certain language, and then you read a little bit more about this language, and then you maybe you buy a book, and then after every chapter it's like, oh damn it, what I've done, I could have done so much more easily, but hey, now I know at least. Otherwise, you learn so much, and again, it at least in my case, it feels really like it stifles you creatively. And yes, I would say programming is also some sort of creativity or creative activity, because you don't want to do anything wrong. At least this is how it is with me. So at this point, I just, let this, I thought, you know what, Phil, you don't have time to learn Python properly with a book of 1,000 pages and then write your first Hello World thing. You will learn as you go. And thank you, Venereal Disease. Cheers, by the way. And good thing that I did, because now I really, despite how backwards this might be, again, I love my emojis in my console commands. Anyway, how backwards as this is, it works, and it solves my problem, which is cool. So the other problem that I had was, you know what, I want to have my modify date in the file name. And again, I want to have it like the other things, where I just have a batch script on my desktop, and then I drop like a couple of files on it, and for every file, it appends the last modify date at the end. The reason for this is that I have sometimes projects where that are distributed over a couple of subfolders, but the project always has the same name, where it's just like cool song version 3, and then I have like 8 versions version 3 because they're just in different folders. And so I thought, you know what, I just select all these folders, and for all these files in these folders, it just appends the last modified date, and so I can put them in one folder without any file conflicts there. Again, this is a very specific problem, and like I said, Python is pretty neat for this. So you can see here from my imports that I played around with different approaches, and essentially you come over something in Stack Overflow, you try it out, and it does half the way that you think it does, and then again it stays in there even if you take it out. So in my case, what I want to do is I set here my time format. So this is year, month, day, underscore, hour, minute, second. So again, that everything is very similar, and I'm following a certain convention. Again, I love my naming conventions, because at some point when you want to do things like this, you automate things and you can rely on everything having the same layout. It's so much easier. So this is why I love to follow my own formats here. So essentially what I'm doing is here we get all the arguments except the script name. So again, this is I didn't know that this exists, so that I can say, hey, get all the arguments from the command line, whatever was passed. And again, this makes it so much easier, where I can say now, okay, I have all the file path strings now in this array, or in this list, as I've learned it's called in Python. So everything is a list here, or a set, of course. And now I can just iterate over it. And again, here, this path, this is what I wish I had learned about when I was doing my MIDI things, where I can say, hey, is this a file? I don't have to check myself whether it's a file. Or, hey, what is the full path part? What is just the file name? What is the suffix? What is the extension? And so on. Again, here, this is what I've already learned. So again, it made it much much to change things from here. I also learned that in Windows, you need the creation time, and in other places, in Linux and Unix, and even on Mac, you get this differently. But still, again, I've learned it, how to get here the create timestamp and the modified timestamp, and then I just make a new name out of it and replace the name. There you go. Done. Easy. And at this point, I thought, you know what? I'm sold. This is the bee's knees. Probably will keep Python installed now. Kersey says, list and set in Python are separate data structures, both useful. That is the thing, because my most elaborate Python script so far, this one is called here parse audio biography, and this parses my audio biography. There we go, my YAML. And apparently I've learned that you need to put coding UTF-8 in here when you have things like here, like emojis, where I'm checking against, or for emojis and so on. So what is my audio biography? This is long-time users, which I mean, if you were here 2 weeks ago, you've already seen this. This is my big master list of where I have my descriptions of all the songs that I've made, or all my assets, musical and so on. So, and this is essentially a YAML file. So I have it here structured in notes, names, software, chip music, file types, and so on. So for example, here, this is just notes for myself. Okay, what is an SF2? How can I open a SES file? Or what is an SES file? And the thing here, the most important thing is here under songs. So here is for every year that I've already worked on, for every song. Here, just in this case, this is just a note. This, for example, here is a section, and this section also has a note. But then here, when something starts here with a name and a date and some tags, this is a song. And again, I was this again I came up with when I started writing this down, because this is a pretty simple and human readable way of tagging my own songs. But of course, it's not a data structure. I mean, this is functionally a YAML file, and it also parses as a YAML file, which is good. But essentially, I'm doing my own parsing on this file. For example, let's say here, what do we have here? Let's say, yeah, Black Gulch is an F-Zero tribute. So this part here is the name. Then the next part here between those pointy brackets is the creation date. Then we have a number from 0 to unlimited tags. This case is put a tag in a bracket, so in angular brackets. And once the tags are over, there may or may not be a rating in the form of emoji stars. Again, so for myself, when I look at this, it's super easy to type it out. And following that is just the liner note, just this 1 or 2 sentences about this project. So again, this is not really a data structure or a proper database even. It's just descriptive of these songs, and again, it's easy to author, and it's pretty terse, so that I know for every song here, when I disable here now the word wrapping, you can see here every song is on its own line, and when it's here indented, then I know, okay, it's in subfolder, and so on and so forth. So, and the reason is for my next Python script, I want to parse this. I want to work on this. So, or turn this into a proper data structure that I can use for, I don't know, sort this by name, sort this by date, sort this by rating, that sort of thing. So, and this is again what this parse audio biography is doing. Yeah, I have some tests here. So essentially what we're looking at is, it first looks at, okay, does it start with songs? Because once we are past the line that starts here that says songs, then it knows, okay, then the next thing that follows here in this hierarchy is the year. And so yeah, I have here, because I'm using YAML, and the colon always means it's an assignment. So essentially, it's like a dictionary entry. So this is, of course, bad when I want to use the colon in my descriptive text, for example. This reminds me of colon, and to work this, whenever I want to type a colon, I have to write now a colon as a tag. Again, it's a little bit bothersome, but yeah, you get used to it. So essentially, what I'm doing next is I'm parsing here the song, and again, lots and lots of good old regular expressions. So, and I have even support here when there are tracks that have, or there are folders which have tracks. So this is the first track, this is the second track, and so on. Again, it's in pointy brackets. Since I'm writing here my own parser, I can come up with pretty much anything that I want. But again, I don't want it to be overcomplicated, and still want it to be proper YAML, so that I can just pop it into a YAML validator, and then it just says, yeah, this is proper YAML, because then I know, okay, I can parse this with what I have. So again, the only thing is, because so many things there are optional, like the timestamp. There could be a timestamp, there could not be a timestamp. Or there could be a rating, there could not be a rating. The only thing with a title, with a song, is it has a title. And by title, I mean it is a word and then followed by a colon. And again, whatever comes after it before this liner note, everything is optional. So again, it's... When you write this out, it's very comfortable, but of course, when you write the parser for it, having all these optional stuff, you know, it's a little bit annoying. So the hardest thing here to come up with a regular expression, this is here the tag block pattern. Again, this is there one tag? Are there two tags? Are there no tags between the pointy brackets and the rating, provided there even is a rating? And I didn't know how to write this. And for this, I used a good old Gemini, and it spat out this behemoth there of a regular expression. I don't know what it does. This is why I don't work a lot with LLMs when I'm doing programming, because I want to understand what it does. In this case, I do not quite understand it. Again, it looks whether the bracket is already closing, or if it's followed by these Unicode ranges, which essentially are the emojis and so on. But it works. I don't want to look at it, but of course at some point, I mean, when I have the time, maybe I want to parse this mentally myself. So once we've parsed everything, we can put it into a data structure. And this is the cool thing, because now again I know what this is. I even essentially here this data says, okay, here all the tags that we have, it just puts it in an array that reads tags. I can show you what it does in a second. So essentially you have a data structure. Now I know what each part of each song essentially is. Is it a rating? Is it a date? Is it a name? And so on. And yeah, okay. I see here with these defs, I'm using functions here. I'm using functions. And one thing that annoys me with Python is that I have to put the functions on top. This is, I mean, of course, since it's more or less a script language, and of course it's not something that needs to compile first. It doesn't know when it's being called. For example, again, it's like reading the text from top to bottom. And if I'm mentioning a function there that I haven't defined above where I need it, then of course the script won't know that it will come at the end of the file. Again, it's something that I need to get used to, so that to put all my functions on top. As some people say, as you should. I don't know why, but I usually like to put my functions on the bottom of my main function. But again, this is just personal preference. For example, in pure basic, you can just say, hey, this is the function name. I will use it later. I'm just defining the function and all the arguments it takes. Again, it's not very convenient, but it feels a little bit more convenient than this system where it says you have to put your functions on top there. But anyway, it's essentially I'm parsing here this audio biography line by line. This is what says here, stack parse by years, and the cursor is for each line we just advance the cursor, because I thought sometimes maybe I need to jump back a line. So this is why I introduced here this variable of the cursor. And again, this is where I'm checking, okay, is it a header? Because a header is just a key entry. For example, sketches : this is a header. Without a colon, this would be a note, for example. So this is how I'm defining, okay, this is a header. A note is an entry without a colon. The song has a name and then a colon with something following it. And this is all the distinction that I make here. And then I'm hard-coding parsed years. And essentially then I'm just spitting out here a JSON file where all the fields are correctly set from what I have. And in the end here, this is the most interesting thing here. It displays here the different series that I have, the different tags, and also lists them by most common tags, for example. And for this, I'm using a set because, of course, I want to get rid of all the duplicates that I have. Kirsty says, for parsing, I might recommend parsing expression grammars, aka PEG. Never heard of this. Well, that's not true. I think I've heard of this, but I was a little bit afraid of it. In Python, there is a library called parsimonious, which looks good. Thank you, parsimonious. I love these kinds of puns. Parsimonious Python. Okay, then I have to look into this because, for as long as I can remember when I'm doing these kinds of parsers, essentially I'm just rolling my own systems, and the most headaches are usually the functions that need to run recursively. Recursive, I was almost close to saying. So once I have a function that runs recursively and it doesn't I don't know, overflow the stack because it never returns, or it just keeps going on towards infinity, I never managed to write a recursive function so that it works from the first time that I run it. Okay, it's fun to do manually, of course. Yeah, so far, again, I'm preferring the fun of rolling this my own, because I feel like that I've parsed so many strings in my time for my essentially just my own tools and my own edification even. I really love messing about with regular expressions and really just again, it's like this puzzle where, okay, it looks like everything here is similar, but like I said, some don't have a rating, like this one here, some don't have tags, some don't have timestamps, others have here time ranges, which I'm not parsing just yet, but overall it's again, it's fun to do this. And in the end, it tells me how many songs I have, and this is all in the hundreds by now, and we're talking about 2011. So okay, let's see this in action. So what I'm also having here is the batch file, because this means I don't have to have Python installed. Otherwise, I can just double click Python. I mean, right now on this system, I do have Python installed. But for example, on my notebook, I do not have Python installed, but I have Python in a portable folder. So this is why I have here the batch file that essentially just calls the Python binary wherever it is. So I say parse audio biography, and it's done. And already opened up here, popped up this song data JSON file, which is kind of big. And again, here it says, okay, which series are the most common, my Berlin series or my CSI series? Yeah, I'm talking about series. When I'm listening to my old songs, I feel like, okay, this sounds like it's part of a series, and then I just put in a tag where I call it Berlin series. And again, my parser understands, okay, is it in square brackets, and does it have the word series at the end? Because if so, we put it onto the series pile. And same thing here for the tags. Does it not have the word series in there? Well, then it's a tag. And in my case, I also tag which software I'm using. So I can say here, at least I've made 175, let's say, songs, experiments, sketches with reason so far, and 30 covers, and 29 songs that are related to games. Again, leading up from 1998 to 2011. So again, it's kind of cool to have this here sorted, and the number of songs that I have so far logged is 767. So, and again, it's blazingly fast. This is really what I like about it. It's just parsing my, like we have here, the audio biography is 1051 lines. This is just a text file written manually that is 183 kilobytes in size, which again is a lot for just typed out text, I feel. And really, it's instant. It's instant. So when we look here at this song data, it's much more structured. It's much more structured. For example, let's compare here something that is called, let's look at Brawler, because it's here in chiptunes. So when I'm looking for Brawler, so we have here 2011. 2011 has here sections and songs and notes, and here this chiptunes is a section within 2011. So again, chiptunes is a section, and sketches, for example, here is a section. And in this section, we have songs, and a song is a part of an array. And here we have the Brawler. The date, again, for the date, it's just using the string, whatever it is there. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be numbers, I think. Well, no, I'm checking against numbers. And then it extracts the tags that we have here. In this case, the Brawler has here the tag FamiTracker, 8-bit, and NES. So song data, this is what we have here. The rating, again, just counts how many star emojis there are, and then here with a note. And again, if I was using a colon or something, then it cleaned it up, and instead of having the word colon in square brackets there, of course it changes. And I've noticed that this needs to be a capital I, and so on. So again, in case that I need my song data in some other format or from some other tool, again, I can transition it from my weird as personal markup, Phil's YAML markup here, into something, again, that is a little bit more structured and that I can use for other things. So cheers. Kirsty says, writing a PEG is kind of like regular expression, but it has variables recursion too. Okay, in that case, probably have to look into it then, because that, again, you've had me at regular expressions. So what I want to do, all the dates I mean, this one here is a date range. This is a date. Some dates have question marks in them because I don't know the exact day. And again, for now, it just takes this as a string and puts it here under date. Whatever it is, whatever it might be, even if there is no date. And I want maybe at some point to say, hey, please list me all songs of that year in chronological order. Because of course, when I'm having it on my hard drive, everything is sorted alphabetically. And because I've created so many folders and recreated folders, even if I sort them by date, it doesn't mean anything anymore. So what I want to do now is to parse the date string. Like I said, since I have a couple of special cases here, this might be kind of interesting or a little bit more elaborate than necessary. So we can take this out. So essentially what happens here is this should happen here in parse song. By the way, whenever I'm using a date here or I'm referencing a date, I'm always putting it in these kind of pointy brackets, because then, at least for me, then I know it's meant to be a date. Right, so in this case, timestamp is different than a date, because with some songs, let's have here a blind donation, because this was the score for a movie, and this is just one long song. So I'm using here this, again, my own markup there of having here a tilde character as a date stamp. A timestamp within this file. Again, it's different to a track number because again the tracks are, it's important that the tracks are sorted by track number and not by alphabetical entry. Again, just made up here my own system. Right, so this is the timestamp. So what I want to do here is where the date is. And I already have here some to-dos for where we check for the date range, or sometimes, I even have a timestamp with hour and minute, and I think even second. So I think for this to work, or for us to work with this, I think it might be useful to change here this display. Let's just say if 1 is 0, and just have here this optional at the end, because I want to print things out and not necessarily export here data. So this is why I'm commenting this out essentially. So because now I just want to print, for example, now the date. So let's say date string is this one here, and then we have date string, and then we'd say just print date string, and now it should print out all the dates. There we go. And there I can see, for example, here, this is not a range. I haven't defined a range here. Here I have ranges. Here I have minutes, hours and minutes, but not seconds. Then at some point, I think I have here question marks in my date. And then I have here whatever is going on here. This is clearly not a date, so apparently something happened here after this date. So let's investigate, because this is a data entry problem and not really a parsing problem. So okay, here we go. So this is here, this stray pointy bracket. I think this was the problem. Then of course I have here alternative dates. So it's this and that. This is why we have here this slash character. So you can see, empty dates. Exactly. So lots of special cases here. So I think what I want to do now is just define the generic case where we just have here this one date, then just print whatever falls through and work from there. Again, it took me a while to realize how I can best work with things like this and regular expressions. And my solution, or my current workflow, as you can see, is just print out everything that matches, and then keep printing what doesn't match, and then just see what falls through the cracks, and essentially just make a better filter. Filter. There we go. Oh, one thing that I just realized, we don't have background music. Now we should have background music, and it says, yes, okay, we do have background music. Okay, so we have here our date string, and then let's have here let's define here some patterns, and then we say pattern date single. That's pretty simple. We're just looking at, does it start with 4 characters for the year, followed by a dash, and then 2 digits, followed by a dash, and then 2 more digits. And then we say if, or first we need to match it, right? So M is we search. Always have to look this up. So M, single date, is there a match for a single date? This is, we check this pattern in the date string. And if we do have a match of a date single, then we do not print it, but otherwise we print. So print date string. I think this is what it does, and I always keep forgetting the colon there. There we go. Else, same thing. Okay, there I have it. Good. Okay, there we go. So even the date ranges apparently worked because it was starting with the date. So all that we have left are the dates where something went wrong or where I only have question marks. So these question marks is not something that the parser couldn't find. I typed twice a question mark for month and date when I didn't know it. And of course here, this is certainly not a date, probably mistyped here, in 2006. There we go. Do not hit enter. And let's try this again. And yeah, we just left here with the question marks. So let's make sure that this is just happening just once. So we say when this starts, the string starts with that, and it also ends with that. I think this is what it is. Yes. So this means this only works for when it's just one string, not when it's more than one string. So this leaves us here with 125. Phil, what are you typing? See, this is again always good to check your data entry. What was I thinking? Where is my audio biography? Did I just close it? Yes, I closed it, of course. So was this on the 12th or the 15th? Good question. I have to check. So this song is called Traveling to the Netherlands and it's from 2003. And let's check the file date. This is that because that I do not want to look at the file date. So this is why I wrote it down while I was looking through the files, that I do not have to drill through my folder structure every single time. So it was called Traveling to Netherlands, and there we have it. Setups audio mulch. And there we have it, 112 and 112. So it is indeed 112. Save. Good. Okay, other wonky dates. Let's have a look at. So we got dates with question marks. We got dates with timestamps. We got ranges. And then we got, I think this is a range. I'm not sure. I have to check what I typed there and why I typed it. Good. Okay. So, but for this, we can say here in our data. So I'm using here the date where I call this end date or underscore. Let's make this an underscore. So only when the date could be parsed correctly, we set here the end date. And again, otherwise we print it here. So, okay, so we say here, let's call this is not how you type. comments. So single date. Let's go for date range. Date range, and it's like what we have here, but it's, let's say, maybe there is a space or no space, there's a dash, then maybe there's a space or no space, and then we have the same thing here again. So this specifies here date range, and the date range is of course when we change when we examine the pattern for this date range in the string. And if we have the date range, then we look at what we have. So because we have here now two dates in here, so I make this two different groups. So the first matching group is the first date, and the next matching group is whatever happens to be the second date. So, and for this, let's say if we have here a date range, first I just want to print, let's say, G1. I just need to make sure that I'm looking at the correct groups. So we say here date range group 1 and group 2. So again, it's just so that I know, hey, this is the right group that I'm looking at. Yeah, this makes sense here. I do not need traveling to the Netherlands anymore. So here we go. Okay, group 1 in this range is... that's curious. Okay, I'm printing... Yeah, this makes sense. Sorry, what threw me off is first I'm printing my groups, and then I'm printing the entire string. So we actually have to look at these things here. So group 1 is the first date and group 2 is the second date. This is exactly what we want. So then I can say here the end date is the second date, the second group, and the starting date is the first group. Kersey says, new type of data sanitization, tell user the data is wrong and go fix the data yourself. Exactly. This is really the best thing when you write your own parser and you can always go back to your data. Because I think I don't want to know how many issues crop up just because someone didn't import or input data correctly. This is why we have so many forms just yelling at you that the end date cannot be in front of the start date, for example. And I feel like at some point you want to help the user, but not just be a jerk about it through the voice of your program. YNC says, this is true. It's never the programmer's fault, always the user. See, exactly. Because my program is working as intended, you just fed it garbage data, so this is on you. It's not my program, you just make sure that your data is my program expects it. So, print date strings, so we can say here, let's say here, start date and end date, or let's say here, from start date to... Why did I say here start date and end date? Because I'm not using these. But I mean, at this point, I do have here the data structure called data. So this should work, I think. Should this work? Not yet, because start date, end date, because I'm mixing different quotation signs. Does this work? Yes, it works. So we have here from to. Beautiful, beautiful. This works. And is it here reflected in the song data? No, because I'm not writing the song data. Exactly, says Cursible. So just make sure that we can actually check it here in the data. let's run this. There should be data now, and here we have end date for pretty much everything, because this is the final date when I know it. Otherwise, I don't know when I've started. With later projects, as you've seen, I can input a range, because then I know that there is a starting date. Start date. Let's see if I can find this, unless of course I mistype. Start date. So yeah, Lord of the Reds / Red Flail does have a start date and an end date. And I called it that's a noteworthy one. So maybe I need to have here milestone at some point. Cool. Okay. So again, this is not essentially being parsed as a date yet, which is fine, just so that we have different dates that we can discern between. Right. So, so at this point, let's see. If not data end date, print the date string. Let's see what we still need to do. Again, if not data end date, what is wrong here? Probably should read the error message and just not click it away. Key error end date. Probably because if not data end date, print date string. Yeah, this could be because it's not defined for some things, and then it doesn't know that. Okay, yeah, it's not that simple. Okay, so what other thing I've noticed is again where we have here the backslash. So it's not this dash here, which defines a range, but we have here this slash, which does not define the range, and I'm not sure what it means. So then is this, I think it's a range. I think we could take it a range, but of course for that I need to print it out. So yeah, let's just use your process variable and says matched is false. And then we say here matched is true, and also here matched is true, and this makes it easier. So if not matched, then we say print string, or what was it, date string. Yeah, this makes it much simpler. So there we go. Okay, so I have here this from to that I need to take out. Okay, so this is what we're left with. We got the dates with the question marks and the dates with the slashes, and I'm not sure what this means. So let's have a look there in the data and see why it's a data entry problem. So rock it. You know what? I think this is a range. So what are the other ranges that we have? This 2008 thing. Okay, so I also think that this is a range here. Another guitar sketch of questionable quality. Yeah, I think that's a range. And finally, we have it here in 2011, which also is a range that I'm pretty sure of. See, data input problem solved. So now we're left with the question marks and the slashes, and yeah, and the weird date stamps that also have here hours and minutes. Right, so let's say, because here we have a date range, we can say, you know what, instead of having here just the hyphen between them, let's say if it's a hyphen or a slash character. I'm not sure if I need to escape the slash character, but let's do this. And so now we're left with just the question marks and the weird timestamps. So so here with a single date, what I'm just thinking of is right now, I mean, if I let me show you what I'm thinking. So, I mean, of course, I can just examine if there is a date like this, and then we can treat it as a, yeah, this has an hour stamp. But what if this also is a range? So, for example, where I say, hey, I started this at, I don't know, 2 in the evening or 2 in the afternoon and finished at 22 in the evening. So it's on the same day, but it would be a range from until where I'm using this. Then again, you know what? I just thought, you know what, Phil? Why don't you solve the problems at hand and not possible problems that might never become problems? Essentially, just don't think there might be cases for this, because I cannot think when this would be the case where I would have done it, because then I can still print it out and say, hey, this date has not been matched. Phil, please look at it. Maybe you want to do something about it. So in that case, let's just say here, so we have a single date, a date range, and then we can say single date with time. Single date with time. So, and it's the same thing as before, but we might have here, so this would be another matching group. Of course, it says, what do the entries say for the underscore ones? The entries say for the underscore ones. Well, let's comment this out first so that I can run it again. Again, this is because I have multiple versions that are on the same day, and for these I included the time of day. So this is why we have here Cubase test 0, which was at this time, and Cubase test 01, which was about a quarter, 3/4 hour later on the same day. So this again is a time. So what I want to do is to have here, okay, this, there might be optionally seconds or something. So for this, let's head over to one of my favorite websites, that is RegEx 101. I'm sure you all know this, and if you don't, you're very welcome, because this is a great website to test regular expressions. So let's make this a bit bigger so that you can hopefully follow along. Okay, time of day makes sense. Yeah, it's in 24-hour format because I'm European, and this makes it much easier for me. Okay, so let's have here some test lines. So first we have the date, then we have the date range, then we have it here with hours and minutes, and then we have it here with hours, minutes, and seconds. And now I want to write a regular expression that matches these two things, where the third group may be optional, where I do have seconds or not. We will figure it out. Anyway, it should be a match. So essentially we're starting at the beginning of the string, and we're looking at a digit, and essentially that is 4 digits. How matches a single character from this? I forgot how to do 4 digits. Does not match the subject. Is it here in front? For, see, this is why I usually write D, and there we have a match. So then month and day again. So then we have the underscore and have hours and minutes, and now here comes the thing, optional. And how do I mark something as optional? I think it's question mark, and then we say there we go. Okay, so it's not optional, so we only have here the match when there are seconds. So this is a non-capturing group. Again, with regular expressions, these optional things where is it one or neither? I think it's star. Yes, okay, there we go. So this means the star means it's one, it's 0 or many, and the plus means it's 1 or many. So when I change here the star to a plus, this here toggles on or off. So let me show you. Make this a star, and a plus does not apply. Okay. Because I mean, now I need to know whether something was this format or that format. But again, this is for now. I just want to separate these things, and I think with this, okay, I this is very ugly, right? Where we just have here this d d d d d d. Can we write this a little bit cleaner? And I think I'm pretty sure there is a way to write this cleaner. I can say, hey, it's just a repetition of 4 characters of something. So quantity, quantifier, lazy, maybe it's here, quantifiers, lazy, multiple. So, okay, exactly 4 times. So it's this, then 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, so that for those watching, it's you write this thing and then use the squiggly brackets, the curvy brackets, and you do not put it in. Oh, you can. Makes sense. Anyway, regular expressions, everyone. We love them. So, right. We are here back, and then we say single item with date. So, single date, single time. And Svadin, thank you so much for subscribing at tier 1 for 23 months. That's almost 3 years. It's a little bit more than 1 year. My math is not that strong, but I mean, my math is pretty strong, but my mathematics is not. Thank you so much, Svadin. Cheers to many more months. And the automated unicorn misses the other unicorns, but they're right here. See, this is a unicorn. I boop it. Boop. Boop. I shouldn't boop the unicorns that much. There's work to be done. Okay, so let's compile what we just have, and because this is again using backslashes, I have to double slash the backslashes. Double slash. There we go. So date string time, so date string match is this, and if we do have a date string time match, then we say, should we say the end date and time is the matching group, and we do have a match. YNOC says, who's gonna tell him that 12 plus 11 is nearly 2? Yeah, I know. I thought I was joking, but you know that I'm so bad at doing calculations in my head that it doesn't really register as a joke. My God, now thinking back, I should have told my math teacher it was a joke that I didn't know the answer. Of course I know the answer. You tell me first. It's a test. Thank you. And okay, we have end time and end date. So this I should not mix up. So I just hope that I'm not making things even more complicated for myself, because I have a tendency to. Anyway, single date with time. So we have of course, the end date, and then part of it as the end time. So the end date, of course, would be the first matches, and the other would be here. That's not wrong. I mean, it is wrong. That's not right. And there we go. So we have here the matching group 1 would be the date, group 1, and the time would be group 2. And to make gorp, what am I typing? Group 2. And to make sure that this works, again, we print and say date. Well, first we print the date string And then we print the date. I mean, I don't have to say here date, I can just plop it here. Date and time. Cool. And Pikalik is also here. Good evening, Pikalik. Thank you so much for dropping by. I'm just parsing my huge big audio biography where I'm trying to tease out here my weird date format. So, right, so at this point it should show us the two entries that do have seconds, hours and minutes. Let's try this, and we print the date string, and something is wrong. Why is the date string wrong? Because it's date str, not date string. There we go. Okay, so these we do not know. We do not parse, but here we have, okay, this is 22, 28, 23. You know what we can do? We can even switch the dashes to colons so that it makes more sense that this is a time. So then we can say here the end time is this. Can I just say replace and say dashes, replace the dashes with colons. Does this work? Let's try. Yes, it works. Look, this looks much more like a time than before. Hi, comrade. Is this Python? Yes, it is Python. Finally, after way too long, I finally arranged myself with liking Python. Kirsty says, yay, and so do I. And I think we can take out here our print, and then we're just left with the question marks. So this means I need to say here, okay, the starting date. Well, when there's a question mark for something, yeah, that is the question. Don't you love it when you have multiple date formats or something where you need to enter a date and then it says enter date of, I don't know, when you got your driver's license or something. Then you say, oh, I think I know the year, and then you enter the year and it says, no, I need to know the date, the day and the month. And you say, I don't know, it's the 1st of January that year, and then it says, okay. So I think what I'll thank you, Pikalik. Cheers, by the way. So I think what I should be doing when we have here something, when we don't know anything else. I mean, here it's just the year. It's never that I do not know the exact day. It's just so that I do not know the exact month and day. So that, okay, I do not know the exact day. I don't even know the exact month. I'm not sure if there's a case where I know, okay, I made this in 2007. I don't know which month, but it was the 15th or something. So I can say whenever we encounter here a question mark, then I cut everything off after that question mark. So maybe we know, okay, it's 2007 and it's December, but we do not know which December day. So then as soon as we have a question mark, then this means abort parsing. How can we model this? So, and of course this probably should also work there for date ranges. This might be, we might be in a pickle here. But for now, let's treat this as one, as a single date. So let's say unknowns in date. So p date single unknown is a regular expression that we compile, and it starts with, the year should be clear. I hope. So let's assume we know the year. So the year is there. Then we can say, is it, okay. Again, the problem that I'm having with either or in regular expressions. So then we can say, does it already start with a question mark? Because, okay, then we know the year. Yeah, you know what we can say. Let's make this simple, and by simple I mean we just write two patterns that we match, and then if something starts here with a question mark followed by anything else, then we know, okay, date single month unknown, and we say date single day unknown. So this means that we have day, which is 2, and then followed by a question mark or 2. So then when we say okay, YNC says a for loop to hit the first question mark and then do a break from there. I mean, yes, this would work when we're walking the string character by character, right? I mean, I like my regular expressions because I'm using regular expressions elsewhere. But I mean, we could do this, that we can walk the string until there's a question mark. That's probably easier. You know what? I will try this. So for C in what was it called? Date string. Date string. Let's say here out string is nothing. So if C is a question mark, break. Can I break out of a... Yes, I'm not. I'm just one level deep. So otherwise out string equals out string plus C. Does this work? I'm not sure in Python. Let's figure this out. Let's just say print out string, out strong, out string. But only, of course, this makes only sense if there's already a question mark in there. So when we say if date string has no find, perhaps, if date string find question mark, then we do this. Okay, let's try this. And it doesn't quite print it. Or should I say, oh, is this here a regular expression? Because in that case I need to escape this. I think that was the issue, because a question mark is just a wild card. No, that was also not it. So if date string find is find the wrong thing. Again, I'm not sure with Python. So Python, not Python, find character in string. The Python string find method. Okay, we get an index, we get a number. Otherwise, if it's -1. So in that case, if find is greater or equal than 0. It shouldn't be 0, but you never know. Let's try. Yes, okay. This looks good. This looks better. So this is when I printed here the out string. Did I print the out string? No, I did not. I printed here the date string. To make sure that I'm printing here the out string, let's just put a dash in front of it, because I'm not printing here the out string, which means something is wrong, or at least this never runs. This never runs. So if in date string we find, maybe we do not need this. Did I just close? Yes, I closed where I could run this from. Well done. Open in move document, no. Open into Explorer. There we go. So let's try this again. Yes, okay, this time it is running. So we have here 99 dash 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 dash. Okay, good. So if we find here the first character that's a question mark, then we can shave off the previous character. In this case, this would be the dash. Or can we Python string replace? Can we use... Okay, well, Python string replace. Can we use regular expressions then? Replace, blah, 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 replace. Apples, bananas, replace. Not sure. Python geeks for geeks. Replace. Does it mention here anything about regular expressions? Well, probably in the documentation. Replace. Comparisons. Replace. Oh dear. I have no idea where we are. Replace. Binary replace. No, it's string replace built-in types. There we go. String replace, old, new. Replace by new if count is given. Replace if count is -1. It doesn't say if this could be a regular expression. R find. Maybe that's it. Because I'm asking why this could be a regular expression, because then I want to replace anything that is not a if the last character is not an number, then we replace it. Or we can even I'm just trying if I can be super clever here or not. Because again, this trailing, or we just cut off. We just cut off the last thing. Yeah, outstring is outstring exactly. So it is. I'm overthinking this. So outstring is outstring -1. So print outstring. Let's see if this does it. Right, is it outstring? Was it this, or was it something with a... Yeah, it's... No, wrong. There we go. Yes. Okay, yeah, exactly. That's it. Cool. Surely that works for strings. It does. It does work for strings. That's the beauty here of Python. That yes, this looks like a face, and it does work. Cool. Okay, so this works. Then we can say data end date is outstring. Cool. Should we save the original date string somewhere in so that I can debug it, so that I know, oh, this is just 2008 because I used a question mark in there. You know what? I think we're fine. We're fine. Okay, so if something was not matched, then we print the date string, and otherwise we print, or in addition we print, I don't know, plus times 40. So just so that we have a divider line. And there we go. Okay, I'm just drawing here divider lines. So yeah, oh, I'm not saying that this is matched is true here, of course. We matched it. So if not matched, then the date string. There we go. Okay, so it just says here press any key to continue. So in this case, if not matched, then I'll say here for myself print this could not be matched. And then we just print the date string, and then we say input. Okay. So just that I know when I'm running this that there was an error and I should have a look at this. YNOC says, don't forget to see if it works with a month but no date too. Exactly. That is something. I'm pretty sure that I'm never having this issue though. So when you mean when we have a month and we do not have a year, or when we just have this month. Okay, so in this case, just for testing, I'm using here purple, or we just call this test. And for this, I'm just using, oh, we have it. Then we do not have an error. And I think I'm even creating here this function. And there we have test. And the end date is indeed 11:02 without a day. So it works. Trademark. At least it doesn't break. Don't you love it when you go from debugging? So why doesn't this work? And after an hour of debugging, you go, how did this ever work? Because it's so messed up. But I mean, this is looking good. So we have here a start date, we have here the end date. So far we're matching all these dates. So now we can take it a step beyond and say, you know what would be cool? When we sort the, for example, the data by, or at least we display it sorted by year or something, or sorted by date. So I have no idea how to do this. And this is when I go and type Python sort list by date. And then how to sort a list of date time or date objects. You're getting none because list sort operates in place, meaning that it doesn't return anything but modifies the list itself. Oh, okay, cool. So the sort function, how did they do this? A is date today, blah, 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 blah. Time, delta. So apparently the sort function, maybe I can use a custom sort function. Anyway, so let's sort our data by, let's sort the last year, in this case 2011, by date. So for this, I think I need to parse all the dates that we have, since they are still stored as strings, and parse them as date time. And then I think I can, this makes them comparable. So here in my big old list, we're here in the parser for the song. This should happen, of course, after the song have been parsed. So here we can say parse, and then we say sort. And from there, yeah, just see what I can work out with. Okay, so when we sort something, first we need to select. So for this, I say, let's make this a bit bigger so that you can hopefully follow along. Let's call this here, this section, select. And what I'm selecting is parse data. How does parse data look like? So parse data years, let's say 1990 or 2011. So let's see first that we select the one. So selection is parsed data years, and then 2011. And how did I dump this? JSON dump parse data. There we go. Oh, that's the parse data. Of course I need to put it there into my selected data. And see if this was indeed correct. Okay, pardes data, of course, when you have a typo there, this of course won't work. Parse data years. Okay, why is there a key error? Because it's lowercase, of course. So it's years. There we go. I think that was the issue, at least. Yes, that was the issue. So we have here the data for just for this year. Okay, then we go here through sections. So let's get all the songs from this year, whether they are in sections or not. songs is empty. Then what was it, with or for? See, this is what I meant with Python and other languages. I always have to look at how I did things. So how do I operate or go over something? Just for t in tags. Okay, so it's a for loop indeed. So stack songs parse. So for s in or for d in data. Yeah, how does the data look like? So for the data, where do we have it? Let's find here a year. Yeah, let's go over 2011. So for all these sections or all the songs, let's first select all the songs and not songs in a subdirectory for now. So for D in parsed data songs, again, I need to do this here in the selection, not in the parse data. So for the songs in selected data, they're all the songs, and there we print D. Hopefully this should print the selected songs. Yes, this looks good. Title, Rock Me Amadeus, good. Okay, then we can say, hey, does in D exists the if the end date print the end date, and then let's see if this also works. No, because I forgot the colon as always. So okay, good, we can get the date out of the songs. This is good. It's all just strings, but so far it's good. So let's try something. If we have here the start date, because not all these songs have a start date, is there an error? Yes, because it does not exist, and I need to safeguard against this. And how do I do this? Again, Googling with Phil, it's Python check for existing key. Check if a given key already exists in a dictionary. In test for the existence. Okay, good. If start date in D, start date in D, print end date in this case. Okay, this works. Cool. So because then we can make sure that it only tries to operate on this when it exists. Okay, then how can I parse this date? Good old Google Python parse date from string. There we go. Convert string into a datetime. How to convert a string to datetime in Python. Get your web hosting. Datetime strptime string parse time is used to convert datetime with this. You can convert it into a datetime object. It's okay. From datetime import datetime. Okay, how to parse my own part? Exactly. Essentially is how can my parser do it? It parse itself. So okay, we need here datetime. This is okay. Parsed data while skip to song start. No, we're completely wrong. There we need to go. Okay, select. So if an end date exists, then we parse this as a date. Oh, God, I hate this so much. No, I clicked it. We're on Stack Overflow. That should be better. Okay, how convert datetime strptime parses an input string in the user specified format into a time zone native datetime. I don't even need this time zone, but it's all good to obtain. Date object using existing just convert it to date. Okay, from datetime import, then we just say, hey, this would be the format. So essentially we say date time is, or dt is datetime. Okay, find the time here in end date following year, month, day, or is it probably small, month, day, and then we have underscore minutes, hours, minutes. How does this work? Date time. Okay, docs in Python 3, very good. So in datetime hour, day. Okay, but what is the format that I know which tokens essentially I need to use? Is this here somewhere? Format string docs. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Ah, it's so nice when you get a Stack Overflow answer that even has the docs in there. So minute as 0 padded decimal number and second. So it's M and S. So this means M and no, we're not using here the time, right? So date time is, I mean, we could even let's put here a to do. To do if there exists a time, add it to the date time creation. So it's year, month, day. Let's make sure that it's year, month as a 0 padded and day as a 0 padded and year with a century decimal number. Okay, good. So this is correct. Then we say just print dt and see what it does. Okay, it interprets everything as starting from midnight, but now this is a proper date string. That is cool. Okay, so how can we sort this now? So essentially for D in selected songs, we can say D date time is dt. So we add another field to this, and then let's see if we can dump this again once we're done. So we dump songs, and then every song object should also have a datetime object. If this works, it does not work. So parsed data, what is wrong? Print songs. Okay, read the error message. Object of type datetime is not JSON serialized, blah blah blah. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, this is but the problem here with JSON dump, which is fine. So, but then, I mean, it's good because now we know that this actually worked, that it is now part there of the data structure, of the selection that we have. So now I need to just say, how can I sort a selection? Yeah, it's Googling with Phil again. Python sort list by attribute. That sounds good. How to sort a list by attribute? Tag toe, count 10, tag name. To sort the list in the first place, key lab, oh dear. To return a new list, use sorted. Oh dear. Dr. Google solves all my problems, right? Okay, I have no idea what lambda x count is, but they're using, okay, they're using count. So let's try to sort this in place and just copy, paste, and see what we can do. So the original list is the selected data. The key is lambda and it's X, but no. So X is every list object, and every list object should have here a date time object. Oh, I hope that this works. And then I just say print selected data. I don't, it probably will say, hey, this is just of type, yeah, trace back. Okay, a dict object has no attribute sort. Ah, okay, that's the problem. So it's not a list, it's a dictionary that we have. So, because the songs themselves, I mean, at some point we can even say, you know what, let's create this on the fly. But yeah, this is a little bit problematic. Okay, so Python sort dictionary by attribute. Let's see. How do I sort a dictionary by value? There we go. This question answers a community effort. Edit will remove. Okay. Dicts preserve insertion order. Okay. Older Python. So, dear what? Why is it? It's an implementational detail. What does an implementational dictionary order uses a compact representation by what? How? No, I don't understand this. Okay, so key V for K, V sorted X items, key lambda item. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. In Python, since unpacking is not allowed, we can use. Okay, let's try this. Wait, what are you trying to do? Hello, Kersey. Thank you for checking in back. So what I want to do is I want to sort now my selected data. So I added to my songs here to the selection for each song a field with the date time object of date time. And now I want to sort by date time this object. So, okay, dict is like a hash table. Yeah, you can't sort it. I was a little bit afraid of that. Okay, so then I need to turn this dictionary essentially into a list, right? So I think lists are just like an array. So let's just say, I mean, I'm using here, I'm not using songs anyway. So if we have an end date, then I just say, you know what, songs, append, does this work? Append D, and then I just sort here the song. Does this work? Let's try. Okay, turn it into a list if you want a sort. Okay, good. YNC says, could you then add it into a list that could be sorted? Surely. Yeah, spelling hard. I know. I feel you. That is always, I know how you feel. To me, this is always very frustrating when you want to tell a streamer something, but they are already way beyond you, especially with the lag, and you just want to get it, type it out there while it's still relevant or within the context of, I feel you, I totally know what you mean. So let's try it like this, and we are getting a little bit better. So parse data is not working because I now added here this date time object. So instead, I mean, there. Yeah, now I cannot dump it because I added here the date time object. I mean, I can now append D here. Okay, does this work when I say temp is append D? And then I say temp date time is DT and do it like this. Does this work? Is this allowed? No, it's not allowed. Okay, temp date time is DT. So I thought that I could clone essentially, or that I get a reference to this newly appended entry in D. So that's because I do not want to pollute what I have with datetime, because then I cannot save it. Okay, the amount of times I've sent something with a spelling mistake, then I get embarrassed and close the stream is too high. Oh no, please don't feel bad. Please don't feel bad. Everyone makes mistakes, especially when you try to type, and especially when you try to type on a phone. So all good, all good. Okay, so what I want to do now is, for me, in order to sort my songs, is from this dictionary I need to create a list of songs. For this, what I want to do is I want to clone each song into this new list. So I don't want to use them as a reference, but essentially as a clone. And when I clone it, then I can add the date time to it. And I need to add this to the clone and not to the data itself, because at the end I want to save the data as JSON by itself. But if there is a date time object in there, it cannot be serialized as JSON. So that's the thing that I want to do. So then we're back with Dr. Google, and I say, Python, how to clone dictionary entry to new dictionary. Copy, print capitals. Oh, it's just copy. I can just copy it. Okay, Kersey says try something like this. List V or K. Where for V in I have no idea where to put this, Kersey. V for K, V in dictionary. So V would be the value, and the key, the K would be the key, right? Okay, so let's try this. Let's try this. That create a list of values. Okay, so then we say songs is, thank you, Kersey, is list V for K, V in dict. Is this key value? Does this work? I have no idea. Let's see what the error is now. Okay, it's still the date time thing that I have here. So let's comment this all out. And let's also not do this here. So, okay, for selected data would be, selected data songs would be our dictionary, right? Exactly, yeah. I mean, exactly what you said, Kersey. The dictionary should be the name of whatever dictionary it is. Okay, so this is key value pair, and let's see what drops out when we run this. Okay, too many values to unpack. Expected 2 got 5. Yeah, that is the thing here with my song data. Let's reload this. So here for the songs. So we are here in 27, we got songs, and the songs itself should be a big old list. But of course it's, yeah, here in 2011 it's not working because there we got the bug. So there should be more to it. Scroll. Okay, we are here in 2010. So there is also sections and notes. So I think we need to be a little bit more specific here. Where, okay, this is still something old. Okay, for key value essentially. So, okay, what is the error message again? The error message is too many values to unpack. Expected 2 got 5. So how can I inspect which values we have? A, B, C, D. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 6 values. Let's see if this does something. Too many values to unpack. Expected 5 got 6. Expected 6 got 5. Oh, are you kidding me? Expected 5 got 6, and then it expected 6 got 5. Okay. So, right. I'm not sure that I can use this shorthand there, Kersey, because I don't fully understand it right now. Okay, maybe just do this. Songs is list dict.value. Okay, that I can try. List is selected data songs dot values. Let's try this, and then I can say just print songs, and we got selected data songs values. List object has no attribute values. Interesting. Or is it because I'm saying here that songs is a list? No, that's not it. It's already a list. I mean, the songs itself should be a list, yes. And inside, I mean, again, I can show you the data structure. So the songs itself, as you can see here, is a list, I think. And inside this list, we have here this little, what is it, an object? And for each object, I just want to parse here my end date time. So you don't need to convert it into a list. Says cursive, because it already is a list. But when I try to sort here by date time, it doesn't work because I need. So the thing what I want to do again is I want to clone the entries in songs. And you know what? Let's do this then. Songs is, or selected data is parse data, copy. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this, and then we have it. Then we have it copied. So the date time. If end date in D is, then we have the date time. And then we add the date time to this object to D in selected data songs. Songs. I think this should work. Okay, just two songs equals list selected data songs to make it a copy. I thought I can just use copy. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, we're a little bit further ahead. It says here, okay, dump initerable because yield from blah 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 when serializing date time. Okay, again, it's trying to serialize date time. Why? Okay. Let's look at the error message again. JSON dump parsed data f indent. Okay, it's this one here. So again, I don't think that I'm having here the selected data that I'm not copying correctly then. So then we should just say list parse data, and this should also be a copy, right? Let's try it like this. Same problem. Okay, what happens here? Let's walk through step by step. Okay, so I want here to select data by going into the parse data of the year 2011 and selecting there all the songs. I thought that this might make a copy of this, but apparently not, because when I iterate over everything here, all the songs, the D in this case, all the songs in selected data, I add this date time field to the songs, which pollutes it in such a way that it cannot be dumped, essentially written out as my JSON file. That is currently the problem. So, but why doesn't copy work? Deep copy. Maybe it needs to be a deep copy. So it's import copy. That's the thing, probably. That's the thing. Print songs array before you sort to see what it looks like. I mean, I know what it looks like, because it looks like, essentially it looks like this. So let's try this again. Let's try copy now when I've imported copy. So country info Greece something something. So country info is copy deep copy. So that was my issue. Copy deep copy. And let's try it again. And there we go. We got at least no error message, which is good. Good, so we print the songs, and apparently even that one worked. Neat, question mark. So probably I should do again here this JSON dump. So songs. But then, I mean, if this doesn't work, then it will complain that that it cannot parse a datetime, but that's not the issue. Okay, Wino Caesar is gonna run to work. I hope you managed to finish this tonight. Thank you for streaming as always, and as always, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for keeping me hydrated. Cheers, and all the best for work. I hope it's nothing too exhausting. Cheers. Yeah, pouring over a couple of lines of code. Okay, what apparently works here is the selected data, otherwise we wouldn't be able to iterate over it. So let's print what we have. Let's print D at every step, and this looks good. This looks exactly like it should be. We got here the title, we got the end date, we got the tags, and so on and so forth. Good. Okay, D works. What if I have D and then say print date time? This also works. We got date time here in this data structure. That is good. Then once we're done here, so essentially here in selected data, we deep copy selected the parse data, the songs for 2011. Then I'm not using here the songs anymore because I think this is it. I'm not using songs, but I can use just the selected data, and there we go. Again, we're having the serializing problem, but this means now it's in there. Just cannot print it when I try to print this. So and I think now that I have it sorted by date time, I need to say for D in selected data, D date time. Okay, we need to essentially to remove the datetime object again so that we can JSON dump it. Okay, Python remove property from dictionary. If this is delete an element from a dictionary. Del. Oh, it's just del. Okay, then del d date time. Right. Just print the sorted data first to see what it looks like. Exactly. This is what I'm trying to do here with this dump. Or you mean print? Let's see if that already fixed it, and it did fix it. Look at this. It really. Okay, so we have here the end date. Let's see if this is even correct, because I don't think it is. So we have here end date August. Then we have here, okay, this could be, no, this cannot be. Why did I call this 26? This is your problem. This is your problem. I messed up here again in my file 26 there. Yeah, this was not done in 26, this was done in 2011. Okay, maybe the sorting worked after all. We just need to sort it reverse false so that we start with January. And I think with that, here in we delete the datetime, and you know what, we just say print d title. And then exactly it should just print the title and not dump everything. And so now we know, okay, it started here with sometimes ethereal, Tumblr. Okay, maybe should also print the date first. Okay, how was this? Print f title, or first let's print the date. That is d end date, and then the title. Yeah. Did I do this? Yeah, of course I did it wrong. This needs to go between brackets, of course. See, I'm new to Python. Hi, I'm Phil. This is my first day. Please bear with me. No, inside the string, of course. So let's try this again. There we go. Look at this. Sometimes 1st of January, February. There we have a backslash in there. I'm not sure if I like this or if this is necessary. But yeah, cool. Cool. This, I think it worked. I think it worked. Very cool. Now I'm thinking, okay, how can I do this for all songs and also the songs that are in subfolders? Do I need to have this in subfolders? Okay, if there exists a time edit to then we print the date time. We do not need to print this anymore. We do not need to dump this, and we sort it by date time and remove date time. I mean, when we just print it, I don't think we need to remove it again, right? This removal was just that this JSON dump works. Which, since we're operating there on a copy, again, we don't need to delete this. But of course, if we want now to when it's not just for display, but also when we want to save it here in the data structure, this file has been. Do you want to reload? Yes, please. Let's just see if everything is here complete, and yes, it is complete because it closes everything. I mean, we can even have it here sorted in the data structure then. I mean, this could be kind of nice. So then we say parse and sort songs by date in output. So, and for this, essentially, we need to do the same, or we do not, well, not quite. We don't need this deep copy actually anymore. I mean, we need this deep copy just so that we can create here this date time. If I delete the date time afterwards, we can operate even on the original. Let's try this, whether this works. It works, and let's see here if this is also sorted. Onyx. So we have here Onyx. Before that, we should have Eieruhr, which means egg timer, and club after Onyx. So we have here Onyx, we have club. So essentially, yes, this worked. This worked. Make a bet. So the starting date, of course, is before this one here, but we're sorting by the ending date. You know what? This is cool. This is cool. Wrong button. That's nice. So, and now of course we can do this for all the songs. So how do we do this? So sort songs in date output. So for now of course it says you could just compute the DT value inside the sort key function too, I think. No need to add, then remove the data from each element then. Inside the DT function, the DT value inside the sort key. Oh, you mean here inside this value. Indeed, yes. Yes. The only thing is, I think here, when, for example, when I'm adding with time, when there is time as well, I need to add it, and I'm not quite sure how to do this here. Because right now this date time is just using here the end date, but I think we've added in certain cases also then when we have the time, so it's end date and end time. I mean, I can try to write this in as well, and then we see if I can somehow squeeze it in there. I mean, it should be possible, right? That's a good idea. Okay, date time and date time. End date. is the end date. So let's say string time or date time, or let's say in string, because it's the input string. Strong, the in string is, so when there is end date in D, then we say the in string is the end date. So, but if there is also end time in D, then in string is in string plus space and the end time. Okay. So then we can parse that we have here year, month, day, and then we have, I think I closed it. Hour. Did I close it, or do I still have it open here in my thousands of tabs? No. Python tokens, date, time. Okay, the logic is more complicated. Exactly, Kersey. That's the thing. So why use the date time library? Where is the table where it says what the tokens are? My god, there we go. Year. So minute and second. Again, second might be optional. So again, I'm curious to see how this works. And of course we have hour in 24 format. So what happens here is in the in string, when there is an end date defined, first then we say the in string is the end date. If there's also an end time, which again is formatted like this, where we can say it's 23:15, so, or maybe even with seconds, then this one gets added to the, I don't know, 20, 10, 12, 11 with a space and this string, whatever it might be. So at this point then we have here the date time, and this is when we here look at the in string, and we parse this according to this format that I just described. My question is, when this part does not exist, does it parse it or does it completely ignore it? Anyway, we will find this out when I run it, and apparently here is something already wrong. Data string. What is wrong? Date time. Data string. Where was this? The time data does not match the format. Okay, exactly. That is the problem. Right. Oh dear. See, that is. So in format is. In format is this. Then if there is an end time, then the in format is that, and hopefully we do not need to sort by seconds. Because in that case, warning, if there are seconds in the end time, it won't match. So then we say here in the string, in this format, let's see, and now this works. Good, this works. So yeah, this is the reason why I'm doing here this. I'm adding the date time to it and then sorting and then removing. So right. Okay, so for the selected data, so we don't want to do this just for 2011, but essentially for all the years that are present. So, and for this, I think we can just say years is parsed data years, right? And then we can say for y in years, parse data, and then str y. I don't think this works because again here I need to. Oh no, I don't need even this. I can just say, hey, y songs, because yeah, this is the parsed data. Well, selected data is that. Then we sort it, and hopefully this should now work for the entirety. And straight bracket here. Okay, selected data, y songs. String indices must be integers, not strings. Oh, right. Right. Let's say print y. Let's see what y is. So y is 1998. This essentially is the yeah, it's the string. So then I think we have to say parsed data, years, and then, as I've had it before, the string as the name of the year. Does this work? No, it does not work. I hope it would work. Okay, data string, or maybe it's time data 98 does not match the format. Of course, yeah, when it works until we get to our first question mark thing. Okay. Cursey says Phil makes music so fast he has to distinguish their creation time by this. Exactly. Let's hope that I do not. But for, as we've had here now, for some things that cannot be matched, again, is there a way for strptime to tell me when it didn't work? Because we have so many special cases here, right? So we have where the date either follows this format, but if it doesn't follow this format, essentially can I say, can we check whether it follows the format? Python check if format matches first or something. How do I check if a string matches a certain format? I'd create date from ISO to convert string to date to check if the date. Okay, that's something else. Format finder. Oh, that's cute, but it's not what I want. How to validate a date string format in Python? Yeah, that's the question. Okay, if is valid date. Okay, try. Okay, it's just a try. It's just a try, and that's all we can do. Okay, so essentially is try date time string format. Then if it doesn't work, return true. Oh, this is just when it's inside a function. Okay. First we try this. I mean, this feels so wrong that you just try something, right? I mean, we could examine now the date again, whether it's just a year or so, and I think this is probably what we should be doing instead of using try. Okay, then back to good old regular expressions, and for this I just clone this to the other view that I can inspect what I've already written. Cheers, by the way. Okay, so the pattern is date with day, or date, year, month, day is re compile. And again, there we just see, hey, does it start here with 4? digits for the year, followed by 2 digits for the day, and do month and 2 digits for the day. Then, and that's the end of it. Dollar. Otherwise, is it just year, month? Or is it just the year? So then we can say if, oh, first we need to match everything. Match date, year, month, day is, what was it? Search. And we search this in the in string. Okay, if match date year, then for now we just print year YMD. Make this else ifs. So my idea is that this program crashes, or at least runs into the exception after we have only the year. So do we see this? No, we're having problems of a different kind, because for one is that I need to make these backslashes double, and I need to make sure that we're sitting here at the start of the string. And let's try this again. Okay, file name ymdm is not defined. Oh yes. First off this, then this of course is right. I went a little bit too fast. So this means, of course, we need to check the pattern. We search the pattern for it. Right. Okay. Look at this. We got year, month, day, year, month, day. Only we got here only the year, and then we got here where it's halts. This is good because now we know that we need to change the format. So if the format is year, month, day, then we can say, hey, the in format is year, month, day. If the in format is year, month, then it is year, month. Otherwise, it is just a year. This is good. So, and if the end time is that, then we also say the in format is the existing in format that we have, but we append hour and minutes to it. And with that, we should be safe. Let's run. And we got a different problem. Key error date time. Why is this? Why? Okay, but at least we're not having any problems here with the parsing of the year and so on. This is good. This is good. We're, like I said, we're in a different pickle. So, what was the error message again? Okay, so selected data, key error, date time. Date time does not exist. Why not? Didn't we do it? So if end date, yeah, there are certain songs that do not have a date, of course. In that case, we can just say, hey, these songs should sort. Okay, if we can sort it by date time. Does it exist? Date time, because then we use date time. Otherwise, we use 0. Let's try it like this. Can I do it like this? And invalid syntax. Okay, I wasn't sure if you can do these kinds of things in Python. What's that called? Just forgot it. The question mark things. Ternary operations. That's the thing. So ternary operations Python. Python ternary operator. So assign instead of turn allows you to assign one value if a condition is true. Okay, assign a value if num. Okay, in Python it's just if then else. Okay, thank you, Kersey. So then if datetime, then datetime else 0. Okay. If, okay, so it's 0. No. If num greater 5. Okay, X is weekend. If I have okay, if A, if B, else C. Okay, A. X A. If datetime is daytime, otherwise 0. Okay, thank you, Kersey. Let's try this. Okay. Apparently is if daytime. No, if has or if datetime in X, else 0. I think this is how we write it. Oh wow, not supported between instances of int and datetime. What did I type? Ah, Christ. Let's look another time at the error message. Okay, less than is not supported between instances of int. Where am I using a less than? Oh, probably because this one is... Oh, right. The 0 is a datetime. So let's say... date or dt that year is date time, strp time, and the in string is the year, the string of the year, and the format would be then $y. So essentially what I'm saying here is if this does not have a datetime, if a song doesn't have a datetime assigned, then assign it just the year, which means the 1st of January at midnight, I think. So then this means it would sort on top. At least this is what I think it does. Almost. Datetime does not exist for some. So of course, if datetime in D, then delete datetime, and also then print the end date. I mean, we don't need the print anymore. Okay. Colon. Drink every time I forget a colon. Cheers. And look at this, we're almost up to 2003 for the next error. Unconverted data remains as data string found. Okay, so we have here again a problem with the string format. What is the problem with the string format? Let's see, try. And otherwise, what was the other one when you can try? Okay, Kersey says also you could use dictionary.get method key default value. Ah, okay. So instead of always using this, does it exist in yeah, maybe next time then I have to go through all over again, and I want to wrap it up because I'm almost at the end of my allotted time, but I just want to quickly get this to work. Okay, except then we say print wrong format for what was it? In string. And the format in parentheses in format. And then we just say input something so that it halts the execution at this point. And I forgot. Try. There we go. Oh, for except also. Well, there we go. Okay, yeah, it's not necessary to switch, but it would be xget datetime that year. Okay, and when it cannot get this, then does it raise an error or does it just continue? Wow, okay. Traceback reason call. Unconverted data remains 0. What is going on? Okay. In line 815. So, oh, we're not here. We aren't even here. Line 815. Oh, it's not in my line 815. How foolish of me. So, okay, error. In format is not defined. In format. There we go. Okay, wrong format for the 40th of September. Well, this makes sense. Okay. This, again, it's a problem with the data input. 40th of September. Probably the 4th of September. See, when you do these kinds of parsing, you catch all sorts of things. Okay, look at this. It parsed all the years without problems. There we go. Yes, we want to reload this, and let's look at 2012. Well, there's nothing much there. Let's look at 28, and not in the sections, but in the songs. There it starts with 11th of January, 2nd of January, 5th of February. You know what? This looks sorted. This does look sorted to me. Neat. Okay, it's just like your A if P else C expression, but it avoids looking up twice if performance is critical. Oh, okay, so in that case, probably should use that method then, because especially when you iterate over lists with thousands of entries, then it really could become a problem. But I mean, what I could then still do is, we got here sections. I can do the same thing, essentially just recursively over sections. But you know what? I think I'm happy. So cool. To quickly sum up what was achieved today. So we have here my big old list of songs with my very own way of markdown, essentially, where it says here, this is the song name, and this, just realized, this needs to go here, where we have song name and date. Sometimes we have even a range of dates. I cannot find one right now, but believe me, there is. And now here with my beautiful parse audio biography, I'm able to parse here not just the string of the title, but here when we have here the date, we parse a single date, we parse a date with time, we parse a date when there's a question mark in there for unknowns. We can parse a range of dates that is either with a dash or a backslash, a hyphen, or a backslash, and it prints if it couldn't be matched. Which so far it does. And finally here at the end, we go through all the years, the songs in all years, and parse their date, create from this string a date time object. And also depending on whether it's just a year or month and year or month and year and day, of course, we need to tell strptime to do this correctly. Then we sort this, and then we remove this datetime object, because in the end I'm dumping here a JSON file, and when there's a datetime object in there, it complains that it cannot do it. So I'm pretty happy that we got it done, and here even I can take out the year. Cool. Thank you everyone for sticking with me for this rather, let's say, dry Python thing, where it's just, hey, Phil iterates over data that is only important to himself. But I'm super happy that we've got it done. Again, thank you everyone who helped, especially Garciboo. You know you Python for sure. So yeah, and as always, this is how I program, especially with a language that is new to me. I want to do something, it doesn't work. Google Stack Overflow, put it in, there we go. And Mr. Troy, you have impeccable timing always when I switch over to the big camera. But rest assured, you haven't missed much. It was just me trying to get to grips with Python. Oh, damn it. I'm really sorry that it's always I'm wrapping up when you have the time. Oh, damn it. I mean, Is it Troy o'clock? Because then I need to wrap things up. This shouldn't be. Maybe at some point you can catch me a little bit better. So with next week, I'm going to stream on Sunday, so that's not tomorrow, but in 8 days from now. And if you look at the clock right now and subtract 3 hours, this is when I plan to start on Sunday. Hope this helps. I'm not sure if you can make it at this time. Again, we're about probably 9 hours apart, Kersey and Troy, you're in the same time zone, so I totally get it. I'm looking to try out different, not a different schedule or anything, but maybe on occasion where I do a stream at different times of day, so that maybe some other people can catch me who otherwise cannot. Oh dear. Yeah, the VOD exists indeed, and I will get, after finishing this one, I will get right to it, editing the VOD, and then in about a couple of hours it should be live on YouTube. Again, I always recommend the YouTube VODs because they have cleaned up audio, so especially when I'm drinking, I cut this out because, yeah, it's not interesting for anyone to listen to me swallow. Right. So, yeah, Kirsty says, fun Python wrangling. That it was. We snaked our way around it. Oh, God, I cannot even finish this horrible pun. Somehow, thank you again. I got it to work. And now I can continue with my big project that is rescuing my old music data and making it future-proof outside of the confines of existing and obsolete and especially proprietary software. So yeah, the search continues for greener pastures. So yeah, right now I just want to get started with my songs from 2012, but hopefully things should be a little bit quicker from now on. Anyway, thank you everyone. It was, as always, fun to pair program, which means I make mistakes and you correct me. So again, thank you. I hope you have a wonderful week, and yeah, see you in 8 days, unless I crater again, which, fingers crossed, please. I hate being sick, so yeah, let's not. And Tutvari says, see you. And again, I say thank you everyone. May the unicorns bless your week, and even if they don't, hopefully you get some time to play some good old retro games, indie games, or even better, make retro games, make indie games, make retro games. Is this possible? Yeah, anyway, for retro consoles. All the best with your projects. I don't know how to end things, and with that I say take care everyone. Bye bye.